Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. And we have come to the fourth part of project management. This time we will talk about developing a project plan. So in this developing project plan, we will learn how to produce a diagram of a project network. We call it as AON. So what is AON is activity, sorry, let me read nicely. Activity on notes. Okay, so we have activities, we have notes, and we try to connect activity with notes. That's what it means. Secondly is to determine early, late, and slack activity times and identify the critical path. And thirdly is to explain the importance of slack in scheduling projects. So what is project network? It's a flowchart that depicts graphically the sequences of interdependencies that has a start and finish times, and it has a job plan of activities and that show the critical path through the network. It provides basis for scheduling labor and equipment. It enhances communication among project participants, provides an estimate of the project's duration, provides a basis for budgeting cash flow, identifies activities that are critical, highlights activities that are critical, and help managers to get and stay on plan. Okay, so this is an example of a badly colored WBS work package to network font. It should have been black, not yellow. Okay, so we have what we have over here. We have work in design, work in production, work in test system, and work in software. It has been labeled with WP over here, WPP 10.1, WP 10.2 for production number 2 activities, and so on and so forth. All right. So how this is related to each other? This is how they present it in a network. If you compare to this, okay, sorry. If you compare this, okay, to this, it is, this only tells you the granularity, the details, okay, how it works cascadingly downwards. But this one tells you how it is relate to each other, which one will go before or after each processes, and that is the purpose of a network diagram. Okay, so what does this tells you? This tells you that process A can starts before B and C, right? The moment B and C completes, then we can start D, then F, then K. B and C are two processes that works in parallel, okay? And these works in series, and these in parallel. Constructing a network. Okay, there's some things that you need to know before you construct a project network. All right. First of all, activity. What is activity? It's an element of the project that requires time. A merge activity is an activity that has two or more preceding activities on which it is depends. And a parallel concurrent activities are activities that can occur independently, and if desired, not at the same time. Okay, so A is example activity, a merge activity, meaning B is an activity that has two or more preceding activities on which it is depends. Okay, so D and C is a merge activity where it depends on B before it can start, and the parallel activity example of D and C as well. The next is the path, where it is the sequence that connects the independent activities. And the most important thing also is the critical path, where it is defined as the longest path through the activity network that allows for the completion of the project related activities, the shortest expected time in which the entire project can be completed. Delays on critical path will delay completion of the entire project. Okay. Between C and D, this is the path. Between A, B, and BD, this is the path. Okay. When you have the data of the time, okay, for each activities to be completed, then you will know which one has the longest sequence. Then you know, hypothetically, I would say A, B, and D would have the longest time sequence. I would assume this is the critical path. But it's all, at the end of the day, depends on the time taken to complete the activities and the one that uses the longest time to complete. An event, okay, is a point in time when activity is started or completed. It does not consume time. A burst activity at the same time is an activity that has more than one activity immediately following it. For example, A, it is a burst activity. It bursts into 3 other activities after it. There's 2 approaches in network diagram. You have activity on nodes. Secondly, we have activity on arrows. Where on nodes, we use node to depict activity. In AOA or arrows, we use arrows to depict an activity or activities. For this chapter, we will only focus on AON. So basic rules to follow in developing project networks. First, networks typically flow from left to right. Number 2, activity cannot begin until all preceding connected activities are completed. Number 3, arrows indicate precedence and flow and can cross over each other. Number 4, each activity must have a unique identifying numbers that is greater than any of its predecessors' activities. Number 5, looping is not allowed. Number 6, conditional statements are not allowed. And number 7, use common start and stop nodes. Activity on node fundamentals. Okay, A for this series network diagram, A preceded by B and B is preceded by, A is preceded by nothing, okay, nothing, nada. B is preceded by A, C is preceded by B. Okay, for Y and Z over here is preceded by X, and Y and Z can begin at the same time if you wish, or it can also can begin at the different timing. And X is also defined as a burst activity. Activity on node fundamentals again. What further? JKL here can all begin at the same time if you wish, okay, but all JKL must be completed before M, and M is defined as the merge activity. For this kind of network, Z is preceded by X and Y. Because why? The arrows of these 2 arrows comes from X and Y. AA is preceded by X and Y. Okay. Why? Because the arrow pointing out from X to AA and from Y to AA. This is how we call it as preceded. This is example of call business center. We have activity defined as activity A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, where A is application approval, B for construction plans, and so forth. And the preceding activity for A is none. For B is A, for C is A, and for D is also A. And we have preceding activity for E is BC, for F, B, C, D, for G is F, and H is E and G, the preceding. So this is how it should look like for the network diagram of the activities defined previously here. Okay, this is what it is shown previously in a table. So we do have these, don't we? This one, and then this is translated into network diagram. Okay, into this. All right. Okay. So we have A connected to B, C, and D, right? And later C is connected to F, and B also connected to F, and D to connected to F the moment they completed. And then F connected to G, and G to H, and E to H the moment E and G completed. Also, the E can only start when B and C is fully completed. If you realized, okay, we have these boxes that tells you the ID of each, okay, ID of each processes, here A, B, C, and D. And we have some short form or acronym, okay, ES, EF, SL, LS, DUR is duration, and LF. So we should discuss this in the next slides. So in this next slide, you can see that the ES, ID, EF, SL, LS, and LF are partially filled up. Okay. This is a way of computing the forward pass. Okay, is another method of knowing what is the forward path of an activity. You just want to know the timeline. Okay. We have also backward pass. How to compute it. You can read it. But before that, we don't know what is ES. We don't know what is EF. We don't know what is SL, isn't it? All right. There's some explanation over here that tells you about that. Okay, the explanation would be somewhere around here in the explanation. Okay. So early start is ES. Early start is ES. Early finish is EF. And ET is expected time. Right? So late start is LS, late finish is LF, and slack time of flow is SL. So if you find the times, to find out the earliest time, you use a forward pass. Okay? If you want to find the latest time, you use backward pass. Okay, the moment you use backward pass, you will use all the late start, late finish, and the slack timeline, the time estimation. If you want to use the forward pass, the time you need to consider is the early start, early finish, and expected time. Okay, this is how you find it. Okay, I need you to read on your own and find the explanation on YouTube. It gives you a lot more explanation. Okay, and all these are further explanation on network diagrams that you can test yourself later, test your understanding. Okay, I will provide you more links on YouTube that tells and explain about what is late start, late finish, and how to calculate each timing. Okay, That's all for today for project management. I hope you enjoy the course and keep challenge your thinking. Right.